Testing, testing, 1, 2. Is this thing on? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to my channel for a sit-down video. Now, my parents are in the other room watching TV, which is why I've got Mr. Microphone right next to my face, so I don't need to talk or yell as loud. Plus, the quality is going to be just next level. You can probably tell by the title of this video that I'm going to be talking about sports. So if sports is not your thing, this video is probably not the one for you. But for those of you who are big into sports like myself, welcome. My name's Jake. If you didn't know, I'll be giving away $200 plus a Blue Healer Project Cross Zoe's Ride for Life hat when I hit 2,000 subscribers, and we're less than 40 away, so you may as well subscribe now, turn the bell on, get ready for the announcement. But enough of that, let's talk about sports. As you can see, I'm currently wearing my West Coast Eagles hat, and my West Coast Eagles jumper is up on my stand next to me. This is actually what inspired this video, is the fact that the footy season is now over. Obviously, my number one sport is Australian football, AFL, footy, as I would say. You guys probably all might disagree, some of you will agree, but footy is my number one sport, and I go for the West Coast Eagles. I have my entire life, and that's never going to change. But, as I said, the footy season is over. And so I figured I'd talk a little bit about what sports get me through the off-season of the footy. Starting with my second most popular sport, I guess you could say. This is the only other sport that I follow along with and support the same as I do with the footy and the West Coast Eagles. And that is the NFL, American football. When it comes to the NFL, I support the Minnesota Vikings. I've probably followed the NFL for about 7 years. And it's been Vikings since the start. That's right, I'm not on the Patriots bandwagon. Peterson was the running back when I first started getting into the NFL. Plus my boy Teddy Bridgewater was the quarterback. So it has been a while. It's now all changed, but I do still very much love it. Unfortunately, the Vikings have not started this year very well. They're 1-3. They lost 7-14 to the Broncos this week, but they did get their first win last week, and that was a ripper of a game. So hopefully they can flip their season around and start playing a bit better, but I'm not holding on a lot of hope. It is hard to get into the NFL, personally, me being an Australian over here, because all the games are mostly played at either 1 AM or 4 AM, and it's not as easy. So I always wake up and I Google, if we won, and sadly, yeah, this year has not gone to plan. But if we do ever make playoffs and then say the Super Bowl one day, it is always a good time for us. I have actually been lucky enough to go to an NFL game. I went to a season opener of the 17-18 season. I went and saw Vikings versus the New Orleans Saints, which was very cool. It was actually Peterson's first game with the Saints against Vikings at the US Bank Stadium. It was absolutely cool. The atmosphere was amazing. Cannot wait to go again once I can travel. But whenever that will be, again, who knows? But that is why the NFL, the Minnesota Vikings, are my second team. Moving on, basketball and the Los Angeles Lakers. Basketball is my third team because I somewhat follow it, but I don't sit there and watch every game, and I don't check every single score. But I plan for that to change this year. I do enjoy basketball, but I've just never fully gotten into it to the fact of supporting a team throughout the whole season. However, since 2013, I have always followed what the Lakers were up to. And that is because this jersey here, I bought at the Staples Center when I went to see the Lakers play with Kobe Bryant back in 2013. Most other sports I go for Minnesota because I do have family in Minnesota, but when it comes to basketball, my heart's always staying with the Lakers because of the fact that I have seen them at the Staples Center. Plus, it's the same colors as Minnesota in the NFL, and apparently, which kind of makes sense, is that the Lakers actually started in Minnesota. Because if you don't know Minnesota, it's the land of 12,000 lakes. LA does not have lakes. So why are the Los Angeles Lakers the Lakers? Apparently, and fact check me if I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not 100% sure here. I'm pretty sure I read it though, that they started out in Minnesota, which is cool. But That doesn't matter, because LA is also my favourite place in the States. So I will always support the Lakers when it comes to basketball, and I vow right here on my channel, I want to follow along with what the Lakers do this year. And hopefully throughout this off-season of footy, I can bring you guys some basketball content, because I think that'd be pretty cool. Aussie into American sports, you know? Other teams I follow, I do follow the Timberwolves occasionally, and again Minnesota. My mate Josh says it perfectly. When he supports basketball, he supports players more so than teams, which is cool. My heart's set with the Lakers, and I can't go away from it. So that brings me to hockey, or the ice hockey, as we say over here. I've only been to one game of the ice hockey, and I guarantee you it is the most fun sporting event I've ever been to outside of Australia. Because, you know, I went to the 2018 and the 2021 AFL Grand Final. Oh my gosh, hockey is so fun. It's 3 quarters and it is the most entertaining. Now, I don't have any hockey jerseys or hats, but I do have this cool Minnesota Wild puck that we got from the Wild game when we went in also 2013 or 14. It was one of them anyway. Very cool. Established in 2000. I was born. How cool is that? I don't follow the hockey at all, but in terms of which sporting team I do go for when it comes to the hockey, it is the Minnesota Wild. That's all I've really got to say with that one. But I will leave you guys with if you live outside the States and you do go there, go to a hockey game. It is so fun. You will not be disappointed. Alright, the last of the American sports that I'm going to talk about is the baseball. I'm not into baseball at all, and I put it down to the fact that I've never actually been to a baseball game. I feel like as soon as I go, I'll be sold, but I haven't gone. This one's always tough, because at heart, and it could be bandwagon here, but I would say if I was to support one, it would be the New York Yankees. Could be because they're the most popular, but New York is actually my second favorite place in America after LA. So it makes sense to have my Minnesota teams, and then an LA team and a New York team. Obviously, the Twins are the Minnesota baseball team, so when they do well, that's cool too. But I would say that my heart with baseball would go to the Yankees. Again, I do not follow it in the slightest. I don't follow scores, players, nothing. But go Yankees. And lastly, I'll leave you with one more sport, and that is soccer or football, the EPL. And Manchester United. Ronaldo is home. How exciting is that for Manchester United fans? Once again, I do not follow them. My grandpa was a Manchester United fan, and I remember an early memory of getting a Manchester United show bag from the Royal Show, and that's when I decided they were going to be my team as well. Plus, some good mates throughout high school always went for them. And my cousin Tom goes for Liverpool, and there's a bit of a rivalry there, so I'm going to be opposite him for that one. So that is why I choose Manchester United, but as I said, I do not follow the soccer at all, but go the Reds. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this video. Thank you for joining me. I hope you learned something. Comment down below what sporting teams outside of Australia you go for. And if you're from America, let me know. Let me know what teams you go for. Likewise with the UK. Let me know what football, you're welcome, team you go for. Because I'm intrigued to know of who actually watches this video is into those sports. So then I know throughout this off-season of the footy, I can make some sporting content for you guys. How do I end these videos? 1 like for sports. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Catcha.